Hello everyone, it's Russ and Kelly. We're going to adjust the frame a little bit. Sorry, we were a couple seconds late.
Hi guys.
Because you're going to need to make a comment and that will make you a mod. That
Me?
will, enable you to become a mod. So there you go. Oh, we got a commercial. Sorry everyone, but we're here and we have a special guest that we want to show you. You just turn your volume down all the way, we'll be good.
That's what I did.
Okay, Little Bob is in
You're gonna
here.
have to show me how to do the...
Okay, so just make a comment, just type any comment right there, and I will make you a moderator. So hello everyone, who's in the chat? Let's see, we had some people chatting before it even started. So Andrew is in. It's not going to let us go any further down, is it? No, it's not. So Andrew, Genius21. Genius21 says, I love before the stream started. That's how good of a YouTuber you are. Thank you. And we got 6 people in the chat and 6 likes. Look at that. Okay, Tanuviel is in here. Okay, and Yeti Grant is here too. So that's good. So I'm gonna, oh, you're already a moderator, so you're good. That's what we wanted.
I'm the moderator.
Okay.
I'm the moderator.
So now you can follow the chat and read out comments, and I can do the things. So
you can do the things.
Stephen Bember's here too.
Things.
And he said, hello, there's lots of live streams tonight. Awesome. Well, I want to show you guys what we've got today. Oh, Andrew says, happy Easter, Russ and Kelly. Happy Easter to you. Thank you. We're looking forward to it. It should be fun. We're going to be visiting family. Things like that.
Are you going to show them our
I'm going to show you our special animal guest. You ready for this, everybody?
We're babysitting.
Little Bob, you'll be excited about this. Check it out.
He's
this
not
is
ours.
our guest. This is not ours.
Yeah.
His name's RJ, and he belongs to a friend of ours who is traveling this weekend and wanted a babysitter, and he just figured he'd bring him over here, and it works out really nice. So we're excited to be babysitting RJ here. We're going to see if he will eat for us. He's still getting used to us just a little bit, but there he goes. We're pretty excited to be babysitting.
Little Bob said, 2 beautiful beardies.
And this guy is a little bit reactive still. He's still getting used to everything, but
being here.
Sudden movements are surprising him. Sudden movements are a little bit. He'll put out his beard and display for us a little bit. So we're trying to just calm him down, but I think he's getting there. He's just getting used to us. So it looks like everybody's appreciating it. Little Bob
says he doesn't see him.
You don't see him. Here we go. We're going to do it again. Here we go. This is RJ right here.
Not to be confused with RJ Fletcher from Weird Al's UHF movie.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to get...
Little Bob says beardies don't like handling much. I thought they were supposed to be really friendly and social.
Well, I think it's... They like to sit on your shoulders and things like that. A lot of them do anyway, but they don't so much like the actually picking up process. Is that what you mean? Okay. Maybe that's it. Because, yeah, the beardies I've worked with, this is one is definitely the most reactive one that I have worked with. But he's beautiful. He's super cool. Did you get to see him, Yeti Grant? I hope so. We've got 11 people in the chat. I don't know if he's going to eat, but what we might do is actually aim the camera down a little bit so you can see him, and I don't have to hold him up because I don't think he really appreciates that, and we'll see if he'll eat some crickets for us. I don't know.
Okay.
So Daniel D is asking,
is that your beardie? No, we're just babysitting him.
Yeah, we're babysitting him for just a few days. Beardie sitting, I like that. So here we go. There he is. Oh, that's a weird angle.
Yeti Grant says he can see him.
Okay, cool.
And Little Bob says, when they get to trust you, they really trust you, but they are very wary at first.
Very wary at first. Yeah, that seems to be the thing. He doesn't really know us all that well yet. We'll see if he's hungry and if he'll eat, because the two things may not go together very well, but he seems to be eyeing these crickets appreciatively from my side. So let's see what he thinks. His owner mentioned that they will hand feed him sometimes. So let's see if he gets interested in a cricket or not. Doesn't seem to be paying a lot of attention to it right now, but... Hey, buddy. You interested in this at all? Oh, sorry. It's going to grab your face. I want you to be able to see it, do its thing, and wiggle around.
If you love me, let me go.
See, he doesn't seem too bad right now. He seems fairly relaxed, but I think he's still getting used to the newness of everything. So we'll see.
I'm sure our house smells different than his.
Yeah.
We have other different critters than what he's used to.
And he went through a rather stressful trip. It wasn't very far because it's just down the street, but he had to get, his whole cage got picked up and he got transported after all the accessories were removed from his cage and everything. So he was probably feeling a little weird about that. Oh, look at that. Oh,
Oh,
did
he
you
took
see
it.
that?
Yeah.
He's excited about that. There he goes. Nice. Get live beardy
Decided he
feeding.
wanted it.
So Andrew, there you go. I'm glad you made it, by the way. I know it's hard for Andrew because
You
he
don't have your
lives
hand.
in Australia, and many times when we do the live stream, Andrew is at school or asleep. So this time he actually got to catch the live stream, so
That's
that's
good.
pretty fun. Sorry about the angle, everybody, with this. I don't know if this is working for you really well, but I hope it is.
Andrew says, "Oops, there goes the cricket."
Yeah, that was kind of fun, the way he stuck out his tongue like he's thinking about it, and then suddenly, wham, it's gone. But you had a little bit of a warning.
Little Bob says they're usually fine with petting, but picking up or being in any way restrained, and you're going to get a mildly irritated nip of fury.
Okay. Yeah, and I've been trying to, when I pick him up very carefully and trying not to restrain him at all when I do, and just kind of scoop him up rather than, handle him a different way. See there?
See,
You
Gwen
saw our
stood up
daughter
and it
stand
tipped
up,
him
and
off.
that kind of upset him just a little bit. Yeah. It's the sudden movements, too, I think, that are upsetting him. But I feel better about the fact
He just
that...
wants to feel macho. He has to show the rest of the world his beard.
Yeah, I am glad that he feels comfortable enough to eat out of my hand. That's a good sign, and I think the fact that we're feeding him will help him associate kind of us with a positive stimulus. That's a good thing.
Looking right at the camera.
Yeah, he is.
He says,
We'll see
"Oh,
if he's
look at
going to
me,
go for
don't
this
I
cricket.
look handsome?"
He might eventually go for the cricket.
Danny wants to know if we plan to get our own bearded dragon.
We don't have any immediate plans for a bearded dragon. They take up a lot of space, and they require a lot of heat, and I'm not
She's sitting down again, so he's... I
particularly
keep wanting
ready.
to say flaring. Do they call it flaring? Or
know.
bearding? Or poofing? Puffing?
I refer to it as
Spiking.
displaying because it's really easy to refer to it that way, but I'm sure there are other terms that you can apply to that. Yeah, we have no immediate plans to get a bearded dragon. I'm not going to rule it out in the whole world forever, but not for a long
Puffing.
time.
Oh, Little Bob says
Little
puffing.
Bob says puffing. Okay,
I think you
cool.
could quote the Disney one with the dragon.
the
Puff
dragon
poet,
puff
puff poet.
Oh, the cricket's biting me. That is not fun. I don't like being bitten by
Because
crickets.
crickets are evil.
Well, let's see. I don't know. He ate one. We'll just be patient and see if he wants to eat another one.
If he doesn't
Go
eat
ahead.
the cricket, we can just throw it to someone else.
Yep, we got plenty of
That's
pets
true.
around here that'll eat the cricket if he doesn't. So, but I was encouraged by the fact that he ate one, so I'm just going to go with it for a little while longer.
Danny asks, how much do you feed him?
Well, he's probably going to get about a dozen crickets if he'll eat them today, and that's not enough food. He's going to get some veggies too. But that's not necessarily, every day is not necessarily going to be like that. But he's going to get a bowl full of veggies, lightly dusted with some calcium supplement, and he's going to get about a dozen crickets if he will eat them. So we'll see what he does. But he did eat one cricket
Andrew's
successfully.
laughing at me saying crickets are evil.
Yeah. What is Little Bob saying there?
He says, I love animals and insects, but if you come at me with a locust, you're getting your head blown off.
Well, everybody has certain bugs that annoy them, right?
I don't... The house... You know what? I like snowy tree crickets outside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the house crickets so much. I think it's... I don't know. They just look dirty to me.
Yeah.
And I hate roaches.
Yep. And we've talked about that on the live stream
Hate
before.
roaches. Yeah. You guys know that. So, and mosquitoes. And fruit flies.
Yeah.
Oh, he says older beardies need more vegetables and protein.
That's true.
That would
That's
make
true.
sense because they're not growing so
There are
much.
several reptiles
Yeah.
like that where when they're younger they eat higher protein diets, and when they're
And
older,
he's still growing. He's not.
yeah, he's not full
He's
grown
still
yet. But
fairly young. They haven't had him all that long. When did they?
I'm not sure
I
how
think
long
they got
he's
him a
had
few
him.
months ago. It seems
Yeah,
like.
and he wasn't a
Like
hatchling
maybe
at
in
the
the
time.
fall.
He was older, but I don't remember how big he was when he got him. He told me about it, but I don't remember.
I can't remember.
But he's been telling us stories about his beardy for some time, so it's nice to finally meet him and actually get to babysit him.
Oh, Little Bob says, I saw locust shedding and saw another eating its only moot off, trying to...
Probably its molt.
Oh, okay.
Eating its molt off like it's trying to help it. Weird.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've seen, crickets
Either
are...
trying to help it or trying to say, hey, free protein.
Yeah, crickets... oh, sorry, RJ. Crickets will totally attack other molting crickets. I've seen the result of that in my cricket bin. I've got hundreds of crickets at any given time.
Nocturnal?
Beardies are diurnal.
Oh, okay.
It's a good
So
question.
Maybe you might have fallen asleep.
Okay, Andrew says, I love locusts. They are such easy prey for my animals to eat. However, it is practically impossible to breed them because they require heat lamps.
Ah, So
When they
it's,
say locusts, do they mean things like crickets, like grasshoppers, or do they mean like actual locusts?
they mean
What's-
locusts
what are
more
they
like
referring to?
grasshoppers. Yeah,
Okay.
grasshoppers
I thought
basically.
locusts, I used to think that locusts were like morphs of crickets.
Well, there are species that are referred to as locusts, and then there's a behavior that is referred to as locust swarming. And when a locust swarms, it's a very different type of behaviorally a different animal, even though morphologically it's basically the same. But when they're talking about locusts in this case, they're just talking about the species of large grasshoppers, what we
Okay.
call grasshoppers. It's essentially the same thing.
Steven says, I think the cricket is doing all it can to get free. Yeah, because
It
he
is.
doesn't want to get eaten, but too bad.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I'm not
maybe
sure how
the
RJ is
locusts are
feeling
really-
about it.
he just fired.
I think what
Maybe
I'm
well, it's
going to
'cause
do,
Gwen stood up again.
yeah, I'm going to put
Try it later.
the crickets away for now. I've got a little bin of them here, a little container full of them.
Put
But
the lid all the way on.
it is now, and RJ is not particularly interested, so what I'm going to do
Oh no!
is move back up here,
Ah!
and we'll just continue with the live stream, and we'll see
Okay.
in a few minutes we might try again with RJ. So, yeah, there we go.
I'm not gonna eat a cricket though, so
Okay, I have
it's
done
not
that
quite as
before.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've eaten chocolate-covered crickets. I
And
suppose a chocolate-covered cricket would be better than just a straight cricket.
oh,
but I
definitely,
just,
definitely,
no, thank you.
yeah. So, yeah, you don't have to. I don't judge about that if you don't want to eat a cricket.
No.
So,
Okay.
I thought it would be really fun to have RJ on the show because we've never had a bearded dragon on the show. So,
Little Bob said even the beardies didn't go near the things after it got its face ripped off by the other locust.
wow, yeah,
I guess it looked too mutilated. He says somebody already ate half of that. I don't want to eat that.
I don't want to eat that.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's got other cricket spit on it.
Yeah. Well, I was really glad that Kelly was able to join me on the live stream this time.
Teriyaki cockroaches.
Whoa.
That's sick and wrong.
Well, I've never
Andrew's
tried that.
apparently eaten crickets too because he thinks they have a nutty chickeny taste.
I don't know. The one I had tasted mostly like chocolate, but
Because it was chocolate covered.
yeah,
Steven says, what? Live cricket? Cricket pizza? Not cricket pizza.
not cricket pizza. I didn't
Just
have
a
a
cricket.
live cricket.
Was it you were a little kid and you guys were out in the backyard and are like, let's play survival?
Oh, that time it was a grasshopper.
Oh, it was a grasshopper.
And that one was live. But the cricket was
How old are
dipped in
you?
chocolate. I don't know, maybe 11? I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I don't make a habit of going outside and capturing live grasshoppers and eating them anymore, just in case you're
That's-
wondering.
That's good.
Yeah, Kelly knows that, and maybe you didn't know that, so there you go.
Just when you were 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about something. I have some news I want to tell everybody.
What?
I've told some people that I'm getting a CO2 system, citric acid CO2 system for my inler tank, but I have not told everybody that I actually ordered it, and it's coming.
Ta-da!
So I'm excited. It could come
Is
as
it in the
early as
mail?
Monday. Yeah, I'm not sure if they shipped it yet, but they said it could arrive as early as Monday. So within the next week, it'll be
Okay.
here, and I'll
Leave
set
it
it
on.
up, and I'll do videos about it.
Sent a
Be
YouTube
cool.
video. I don't know.
Okay.
Should I
We
go to
won't
that?
be able
We'll
to watch it
that
now. We
later.
could be able to watch
Okay.
it later. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be
I didn't know
trickier
if
to
that
try to
would
watch it
work well.
now.
This
Yeah,
was-
not very easily.
Yeah.
No, it would
Okay. So we'll watch
be hard
it
to do it
later.
now, but we
Is
could do it later.
roaches?
We'll check it
If
out.
it's roaches, I don't want
I better
to see
preview it just in
You
case it
should
involves
watch
roaches.
first, Yeah.
Oh, Rosie McLeod's in.
Okay, sorry. Gwenny has a question off of
Okay.
the live stream.
Okay, let me see. I'll read it. Rosie McLeod
Yeah.
says, I keep getting white algae in long slimy strands in my tank, and I take it all out. Then in the morning, it's all there again. What can I do to make it stop growing back? Oh, interesting. We need to figure out what's going on. White algae. Now, is it just sort of a pale algae, or is it actually truly white? Because there's more than one thing that could be growing in there. Some things could be other than algae and still growing in your aquarium. We need to figure out what those are. So, yeah, we need to figure that out. Tell me a little bit more about your tank. Is this your 3-gallon bedded tank, if I remember? Is that what you've got? And if it's growing all there in the morning, it's like overnight it's appearing. I'm guessing this is something other than algae, if it's growing that fast and it's white. That's just, I'm wondering about that. So how long does it grow and how long does it take? It sounds like it could be like bacterium of some kind or a fungus going on. That's interesting. We need to figure out what's going on there. And so we'll wait for some more responses on that.
Wait, Little Bob wants to know if you can dance like a beardy.
I don't know.
You could just
How do I do it? I can go like this.
you You gotta.
They do that.
You gotta push your beard out. You get a beard now, like dance around.
Well, they do this. They wave at people, you know.
See there, there's the
Beardies
beardy
do that.
dance.
You got kind of close. I love it when they wave at people.
Okay, Andrew says, how do you be consistent with insect breeding? I'm successful with breeding my crickets, but I stop caring that much, then I don't really care and they die off. Is there a way to be consistent?
That's the trick,
I think
isn't
that's
it?
more of like a personal habit thing
Yep.
rather than tricks of the trade. That's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Well, one thing that can help though is if you pick a day and you say, for example, this is the day that I'm going to do this, and then you pick a time for daily tasks. Because like crickets need, in my case, the crickets at the scale I'm raising them, I need to clean out the bin thoroughly once a week. And I need to feed them at least once a day, twice if I can, and need to replace their water crystals once a day. If I do not, they really, really go downhill. So what I would say is, I tell myself Tuesday is the day I'm going to do it because that's when I usually have the biggest chunk of time in the evening and afternoon to work on it. So I say Tuesday I'm going to clean out the bin. I'm just going to do it. And if I have to miss it, then I either try to do it earlier if I can, like do it on a Saturday or something like that, or do it the next day and without fail. And if I'm consistent with that, they do really well. And then the other jobs that I have to do daily, I just tell myself, you know, before this happens, like before dinner or before I go to sleep or whatever, I'm going to do this. And that's really the only way to do it. If you're not consistent with it, anything, even mealworms, which require a little less maintenance than crickets, will not do well. Some of the insects that you can raise as foods are a lot easier, and consistency is not as important, like confused flower beetle larvae, for example. They're really easy. You can literally set up a culture, forget about it for 6 weeks, come back, and everything will be fine. So there you go. But you can't exactly feed, you know, bearded dragons the larvae because they're too small.
That's true. Daniel says you should get a jungle nymph because it's an interesting bug.
They are very interesting bugs. Unfortunately, they are illegal in my area, at least without very extensive permitting. So if I ever am able to get those permits, I may do that. But if I'm not, I won't be able to because they are otherwise illegal. It is a type of stick insect.
Oh, okay.
And they're super cool.
Yeah. Okay.
But once again, very you have to be careful with the permits.
Here.
Yeah.
The stick insects.
Yeah. And I know a couple people who have them, but I would not be willing to go that direction without the
being
permits.
Legal.
Yeah, I would need the permits. I would make sure.
Okay. Let's see. D Bachelor's Planted Aquarium has joined us.
Oh, hello.
And Ted Tryon says our red Santa shrimp molted, and per your suggestion, I left the molt with antenna in the tank. Now I have 2 shrimp.
It looks like 2 shrimp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rosie says it is a bit green tinged, but mostly white, and only grows in long strands on my airstone and on my plants sometimes, but mostly it is just a layer on my plants and gravel.
And how long does it grow overnight? That's another thing I'm curious about.
Lidl Bob says, when am I getting my dance? Your beardy dance?
Didn't I kind of do it when
we just did it. Yeah, like that's the beardy dance.
That's kind of the beardy dance, right? It's a truncated version, but it kind of works.
Or was he referring to the fact that last time I was on here I was supposed to dance?
I don't know. Let's see what Lidl Bob says.
Says also I have alarms for cleaning, feeding, and stuff like that, but I find feeding fun, so I don't usually need an alarm for that. Andrew says, oh yeah, last time my aquarium cracked and water flowed everywhere in my garage. It soaked all of my mealworms and animals. However, I collected the straggling mealworm beetles and they bred.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's good.
I'm glad you were able to save them that way. That's nice. What do we got
It's no fun
next?
when stuff cracks.
Oh, D Bachelor says he's a fan of our videos. Thank you.
Good.
You know, D Bachelor, if you haven't checked out his channel, you should check out his. He's got a lot of videos of his bettas. He's got some small aquariums with bettas in them that he does really nice aquascapes with, like personalized to each betta, and he's got some super cool ones. So I like checking out his videos. So if you haven't, you should check him out.
Okay,
and thanks for watching.
Says the dance I was promised. I think it was like weeks or even months ago. So it was
so that's
that.
your dance, okay.
And I'm supposed to dance. I'm supposed to be in costume, I think.
Okay.
Was the deal.
What you could do is post one of your dances on the Aquarimax channel. You could do that if you want.
On the Facebook channel
Yeah,
or on
the Facebook channel.
or like put it as a link to it as a response to his comment on this afterwards.
Either way, we could do it either way.
Okay.
One of those will
We'll
work.
do one of those. I'm sorry I didn't get it done.
That's okay. You've been busy. We've been busy.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
We
So,
got the flu twice.
what does Rosie
that was
say?
Fun.
Yeah, the flu twice in a row. Not fun.
Rosie says, I always take it out every morning.
And how much does it grow? Oh, 6 inches in one night? Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I think that's not algae. That's something else going on. That could be some
I'm
kind
pretty
of
sure
bacterium.
that's an alien.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm kind of thinking it's some sort of bacterial growth.
If it's growing that fast.
Yeah, and there's like, it's causing bacterial mats, but instead of mats, it's growing in strands, so bacterial strands.
So what do you do about that?
We got to figure out what it's feeding on. Is there any uneaten food at all in the tank? We got to figure out where that's coming from, because that's some weird stuff.
Okay. D Bachelor says, thank you very much for that. That's too much of a compliment.
Well, you've got talent. I really like your aquascapes. So I just want other people to know about it. They need to check it out. So Rosie says, is it bad for the fish? Well, how is your fish reacting to it? It could be. If it's growing on the fish, it's definitely a problem. Doesn't seem to be growing on the fish, though. So I would say it's not necessarily a problem, but I do feel like there's something that's going on.
Maybe, can they put pictures in these comments?
I don't think there's a way to post pictures here, but if you post a picture on the Aquarimax Facebook page or something like that, we might get some more ideas. But I'm feeling like there's got to be a source of nutrients that this bacteria is feeding on, and we got to figure out what that is. Is there uneaten food the fish is not getting? A little bit more, if you tell me about, okay, she says there's no ammonia in the tank, she's acting normal, that's good.
That's good.
So there's probably no immediate threat to the fish, but what I would say is that the fact that the bacteria are growing this fast in that tank, there is a water quality issue most likely, because there are too many nutrients going on in the tank. We need to figure out where those nutrients are coming from.
Is it a planted tank? I don't remember if she said.
I'm not sure if it is a planted tank. That's a good question. Could help us figure a few things out. But it sounds like it's not algae, because algae, even though it can grow really fast, usually doesn't grow that fast. It's usually not white. So I'm thinking it might be some kind of bacterial thing going on. But what it's actually growing on is the question. What nutrient source is it getting? Yeah, it would be good to keep testing the water, like Steven says. And yeah, removing all the waste, you see how much water you change and how often. That's important to know, because if there is a source of excess nutrients, not a planted tank, okay, that's good to know. So it could be that if there's uneaten food getting down into the gravel or so on, this bacterial bloom is reacting. I mean, a lot of times bacterial blooms just cause cloudy water, but there are many different types of bacteria. So hopefully, Steve is asking how many ferts, so how many fertilizers. I'm hopefully
I'm trying to figure out what that
means. Yeah, I'm hoping that you're not putting any in if it's not a planted tank. You wouldn't need any at all. So hopefully there aren't any at all. And I think knowing how often you change the water, what the size of the tank is, how much you're feeding the betta daily might give us a good idea. Because stop feeding could be a good thing to do until we figure out what's going on. Yeah, several days at least the betta will be fine, and then you hopefully can get a handle on these nutrients, because they're coming from somewhere. We need to figure out where. And
Christopher Neely says it could be a slime mold.
Yeah, and
what's a slime mold?
Well, a slime mold is
other than something on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it's messy, and it could be. Slime molds are interesting creatures. I mean, some people actually raise them on purpose in labs. They can transform between different forms. They're really weird that way. Sometimes they'll work in aggregate, and then they'll go to a simpler form where they stay as separate organisms, and they'll work together to create a superorganism and move that way. They're bizarre.
Weird.
They're bizarre, but it doesn't sound like this is one that Rosie wants. I wouldn't want this one.
Okay. Little Bob says, I love how when you come in here with a problem, you've got 6 people trying to solve it with you.
Yeah, cooperation of the community. I like that.
All the ideas. Oh, Cosmo's coming to look at the bearded dragon.
Yeah, I will watch out. He may just be trying to get on our laps. Hey, Gwen? Would you put RJ back in his enclosure,
Rosie
please?
says that I don't think it's that, because I only feed her a little bit of food and she eats it all.
Okay, that's good to know.
Cosmo, you want to come up?
It's good to know. Tell me about the substrate a little bit. How deep is the substrate? What's the substrate composed
Did she say
of?
what kind of fish it was? She's just saying she.
Is
it just
a
one?
betta.
Oh, it's a betta.
She has a female betta in
Okay,
there.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I remember that from previous live streams.
Okay.
So how deep is the substrate, and do you gravel back the substrate frequently, and how deeply, and all of that sort of thing can give us an idea.
Green slime attack.
Yeah, it's some kind of slime
is
attack.
That Nickelodeon again, or is that like?
That reminds me of
actual
Nickelodeon.
thing?
Well, this is a white slime, but maybe he's thinking Nickelodeon because Nickelodeon
'Cause I
definitely had the
said
green
it.
slime attack. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, knowing about the water change regimen would be really helpful, and how deep your substrate is, and how often you clean the substrate. Like gravel back it, not like remove it from the enclosure or the tank.
Okay.
So Stephen Bember says, sounds like DARPA.
What's DARPA?
You know what? I don't know. I would
Okay,
be
Stephen,
interested in
what's
finding out
DARPA?
more about that.
Little Bob says it sounds like a bad case of the Nickelodeons. Every case of the Nickelodeons is a bad case of the Nickelodeons.
Yeah.
Is Nickelodeon still a thing?
I don't know.
I don't,
Haven't seen network TV in so long. I had
TV
no idea.
hooked up for like 20 years, so I have
Yeah,
no idea.
I don't know either.
Daniel says, I have 8 baby mantids. Would a 32-ounce cup for each be enough room for them?
For a while, yeah. Yeah, for several molts at least. I know that Peter at Bugs in Cyberspace says he raises most of his mantis specimens to adulthood in a 32-ounce deli cup, but he doesn't necessarily recommend it. He just does it because of space reasons, because he's a professional bug breeder. He's producing lots and lots of them.
And they're going to move out soon.
Yeah, but he did say that they can molt.
Little Bob, he says, tiny murder machines, I love mantids. Me too, they're cool.
Okay, so he says they can molt more quickly and more safely in a larger enclosure, but while they're babies, you can definitely keep them in a 32-ounce deli cup. Yeah,
Okay.
As long as they have climbing surfaces and they can reach the top so they can hang upside down and stuff to molt. You can put like a craft stick or an ice cream stick or another kind of stick
So they have something to climb
slanted
on.
up to the side. Yeah, I'm worried about my mantis. I think
Why?
there's something wrong with him.
What happened? He was fine.
He's not looking well.
Why? What
I'm
happened?
not sure what's going on.
What does he look like?
I don't know. He's kind of acting sort of limp. I thought he was molting at first, and then I don't know what he's doing, so I'm worried about it. It's
Well,
not
that would
good.
be sad because he was fine.
I know. He was doing really, really well and growing and
He
molting.
molted already.
And he was eating out of my hand, and he was really happy. So I hope he does okay. I'm worried about him, though.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
Steven says a DARPA is a government body. He was just joking.
Oh.
That's why you didn't know what it was.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
that does. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Okay. Little Bob says, oh no, little mantis isn't okay.
No, he's not. And it's the funny thing because he was on the live stream and he was doing perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put him away and he wasn't doing so well. Right after, like within an hour, he wasn't doing so well. And I don't know. I'm worried that what I did, he was getting ready to molt when I took him out. And
That
so
messed
kind of
him
in
up?
pre-molt, and maybe having him out was not, my timing was not good. And I don't
Oh,
know.
shoot.
I don't know
hope
what's
not.
going on, but I'm worried about him. It's
Maybe
stressful.
you should ask.
Yeah, I was thinking of asking Bugs in Cyberspace, Peter
Yeah,
at Bugs in
yeah.
Cyberspace, if there's anything that I can do. But thank you all for your wishes for the little mantis. I do appreciate
Little
it.
Bob says, show him and they shall attempt to help.
Show him? Ah,
But if that was the problem.
I'm worried about moving him, honestly, right
Yeah.
now, at all. Yeah,
We can't really
But-
move the camera because it's set up on a tripod and
right,
nobody likes doggy cam,
right.
especially not me.
Oh, Samuel Tennyson is in. Nice. Welcome.
Okay.
And
Daniel
Daniel
wanted to
D.
know how the mantis is acting.
Well, first he usually cries he climbs along the wall, and he's fine doing that. He's very dexterous and can adhere himself to the plastic walls. I have 2 sticks in there. One is like a craft stick, and one is a piece of a willow branch. And then I've got, the deli cup. He can grip on the bottom of the deli cup and hold there, and he hangs upside down from there a lot and everything. And he's usually fine with that. And he was eating fine, everything. And he looked kind of bigger than normal. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe he's gonna molt, but I guess I didn't think about that until after I did the live stream. And then I had put him away, and then a short time after that, my daughter said, oh, he fell. And I looked at it, and I looked at him, and he was kind of on his side and sort of struggling, and I picked him up and put him back on something, and he seemed fine. And I thought, okay, he's probably, just, that was weird. 7 Mile, thanks for joining us. Good Easter to you as well. And I thought, okay, he's gonna molt because he was sitting still in one place and kind of hanging upside down from the top. He was holding on, but then he wasn't holding on as well, and now he's just getting kind of weaker. So I'm worried about it. We'll see what
ask
happens.
Bugs in Cyberspace.
Yeah, I need to. I need to ask him what's going on. It's kind of stressing me out.
Little Bob said, I haven't actually had mantids, but I've had a few reptiles plus tarantulas. And Samuel Tonneson says, what do mantises eat?
Well, they eat all kinds of insects. Mine has been really voracious with fruit flies. I give them the tiny little
He's
wingless
just
fruit flies,
teeny.
and then I give them the larger winged Heidi fruit flies, and then some mealworms that I raise myself, and he's been really good about eating all of them. So I'm not sure what's going on. I decided not to give him crickets because I've been worried about crickets. Some people say crickets can be bad for mantises on occasion, so I just wanted to try avoiding crickets. I hadn't fed him a single cricket for that reason. I'm a little worried about it. But apparently something else is going on. I hope he's okay. Andrew Chin says,
could I add reptile calcium into my cricket gut load food?
I wouldn't. Well, it depends. Let me back up. I will say, if you're using that food within 24 hours of feeding those specific crickets to your animals, then fine, yes, then please do. Especially, with reptiles or amphibians that can benefit from the calcium, then yes, go ahead and do it. If you're going to feed them to your crickets like as their normal diet, then I would recommend against it for a couple of reasons. And one is that apparently, at least some people have reported that higher amounts of calcium in cricket diets actually makes it more difficult for them to molt. I don't know for sure if it's true, but I know that you don't need to add it, and they do fine and breed. My crickets have been breeding for however long it's been, a long time that I've been breeding those crickets, and I don't add calcium to their food. There are small amounts of calcium in their food, it comes with it, but I'm not supplementing the calcium in addition to what's already in their natural food, and they're doing great, and so they don't need it, but it may or may not interfere with their molting process, and you can just dust them or gut load them within 24 hours of feeding those specific crickets to your reptiles or amphibians, and that would be fine. You could totally do that.
Little Bob wants to know how old the mantis is and what size is it.
When
It's
I
not very
first
old,
got it,
'cause
no,
you
I
just
think it
got
was
it.
either an L2 or an L3 when I got it. So now it's probably about an inch long, so it's pretty tiny, maybe a little bit bigger than that. And I'm not sure exactly how old it is, but like I said, it was either an L2 or L3 when I got it, and it molted once. So it's now either an L3 or L4 since I got it. And it molted successfully and was doing fine, had grown, looking
I really
great.
liked the fruit flies.
Yeah, it was a great hunter, very, very aggressive hunter, so that was nice. Okay, what's our next one?
Samuel says, have you ever thought about having an ant colony? We've actually had an ant colony
Yeah.
in the past.
We had one for about 3
We did
years.
it in test tubes
It was cool.
instead of, dirt or sand, the vertical ones. He had a bunch of test tubes with other
Aquarium tubing
aquarium
connecting
tubing,
them.
connecting them through corks and stuff, so you could see everything that they were doing.
Yeah, it was cool. The main enclosure was an acrylic box that I got from a craft store, drilled holes in it, stuck tubing into the holes and sealed it, and then put the test tubes and hooked all the test tubes up to it. It was cool. I liked it.
That was a while ago.
It was a long time ago. It was like
2003
2002 or
or
2003 when we started
something
it.
like that, yeah.
And had it
So-
for about 3 years.
Not,
So.
not 3 years because we moved in 2004.
Well, we were it was in the other house when we started
Oh,
it.
we didn't start it
we
on
lived in
the-
Springville when we started it.
Did we? What?
Yeah.
Really?
That's where I caught them.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Little Bob says, if he isn't getting enough protein, that's a problem. Mealworms are mostly calcium, but crickets are better. Unfortunately, the best thing for them are red racer roaches. He will have
Yeah,
to
and we won't
learn
be able to do that.
without.
Well, and he's got a lot of fruit flies, and he was at the age where fruit flies could be the main food.
'Cause he
so
was small
the
enough.
mealworms were part of the diet, but that wasn't it.
I think Little Bob is on a campaign for roaches because he says gut loading crickets doesn't really work. They lose it all before the next day. Roaches, on the other hand.
Yeah, crickets and roaches, there is a difference with that. That's true, and that's one of the reasons why I don't really gut load my crickets. I instead do something else. I've done some research on this. I basically try to make the diet of the crickets as varied as possible over time, and they've done some research. Actually, if you do that, you can have crickets that will retain nutrients because it's not just in their gut, it's in their whole body.
It just makes them healthier crickets,
Like-
so they're better food. It's
right.
like organic crickets.
And so I try to vary their diet as much as possible. Like yesterday, we had some mangoes. I gave them a mango pit with all the juice and flesh on the outside of the mango pit, and they cleaned it off. And I try to do things like that very often. And in addition to their main diet, they get that, and they'll actually build up vitamins and other nutrients in their bodies.
Kids are
That's
healthier.
not the same as gut loading. So that's my approach to doing it, is making sure they have a healthy diet. And the diet I give them is also very nutrient rich. So that helps a little bit in that respect.
I guess I skipped Steven.
What did he say?
He says they have L numbers for plecos.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Oh, L numbers, because I was saying
Like,
L2,
L
L3,
about
L4,
the
yeah.
Mantids.
And L numbers for plecos are a little different in that, but it's true though, they have L numbers because they have so many plecos that have not been scientifically described.
Is that more a type
They
than a
give
size?
they give them an L number, yeah, and says this
okay.
is this species. We don't have a name for it, but we're going to give it a number as a placeholder, and then people can buy them and sell them and breed them and talk about them without having the species being described.
Huh.
It's kind of cool. You know what?
So the
Somebody
L number for the mantids is a size reference.
yes, it's a molt. So the number of molts that they have gone through. There's L1, L2, and so on. It goes on.
Yeah.
You know what? Someone asked me how my antlers were at the very beginning. I totally missed it.
Oh.
I remember seeing it. I was going to respond, and I didn't. I hope that person's still
That's okay.
here.
They're endlers, so you can end it at the end.
At
Because
the end.
we're at 35
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh, we need to quit soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing great. They're breeding like crazy. In fact. Okay.
Dubias aren't the fast climbing, indestructible pest roaches. Come on, just let him start a culture of dubias woman. Nope. Sorry, it's me or roaches, and he likes me better.
That's true. That's true.
I think I'm cuter than a roach.
I do too.
No.
I do too. Hey, Jacob Day, welcome. What does he say?
I gotta find it. Oh, I got behind. He says, any advice on turning a 20-gallon long into a vertical standing vivarium?
Okay, we can talk about that. Stephen Bamber said it was me. So you did ask about the endlers. Sorry, I missed the
okay.
comment. I
Okay.
saw it, was processing it, and then something else distracted me. So sorry about that. But they are doing really well. I've got a ton, and I actually need to sell some off because there are a lot in that tank. Someone wanted to buy some. I posted some on a local classifieds, and somebody wanted to buy some, but they were really trying to they were lowballing me on the price. And so I just said, no, that's okay.
Okay,
Don't need to sell them that much.
turning a 20-gallon long into a vertical standing vivarium.
Okay, well, I would look at some vertical kits myself for the first time if you haven't done it before. There's a lot of vertical conversion kits you get that give you everything you need to do it. I know that New England Herpeticulture sells those, and several of the other people do that too. So several of the other companies that produce things like that would do it. So I would look into that. Basically, you just, they have a hinged piece of glass or plexiglass, depending on the set you get. The hinges are already in place. The ventilation's already in place. And basically what you do is get some silicone. Some of them even come with the silicone with the kit. And you just put silicone all inside the rim, and it's pre-measured. And then you just put it in there, let it cure, and boom, you've got a vertical setup. And the bottom is waterproof. You have to ensure that it is. You make sure that it is waterproof before you actually set everything up. So you put water in the bottom, let it stand several inches deep, and then drain it after 24 hours if it hasn't leaked. And if it has leaked, then you're in trouble. But basically, that's what you do. I would start out that way. I have had a vivarium that was vertical conversion, but I've never done it myself. Okay.
Okay. I have a question for Little Bob before we end. So he says, you didn't dance. I will dance. I have a question for you. Do you want me to dance actually on the live stream, or do you want me to put like a clip in response to like a YouTube clip up on the Aquarimax page, or in response to your comment here, and you can see a video clip? Or do you want me to actually dance live on the live stream next time?
Filming it on the live stream is possible, but it's going to be more complicated.
Well, you just hold the camera and I'll dance.
I know, but we have to like get a good
I'm
place
gonna
for you
have
to
to,
do it and all
like,
that.
Put costumes on and stuff.
Right.
But you tell me which one you want.
Okay. What does Daniel say?
Things about bugs.
Read it.
He says, I have about 50 mealworm beetles, which have been in a container with oats as the bedding, and I give them oranges and water crystals. They also have a bit of hiding places. I've seen them breed and lay eggs, but I have yet to see any baby mealworms. They have been in there for 2 months.
2 months. That's a long time to not see little mealworms. They may be eating a lot of the eggs. One thing that, because they will eat the eggs, the hiding places will help. If you're making sure they have oranges and water crystals all the time so they're not getting dehydrated, that will help too. If they dry out, they're more likely to eat the eggs. And I've found that using a substrate of cocoa fiber and then adding the oatmeal and things like that to the substrate, they don't eat as many of the eggs. I don't think they find them as easily. They get covered up by the substrate and don't find them. So if you change to a substrate of dry cocoa fiber and you keep doing everything else that you're doing, feeding them the oats and giving them oranges and water crystals, in the hiding places, you may find that you have some improvement there, because that method has never failed to work for me.
Okay, we need to wrap up.
We do. Let's just answer Mr. Snack.
Steven wants to know if you ship fish to England.
I wish I could, but I cannot. I'm sorry about that. I wish I could. What is?
And Little Bob says a live dance because I made him wait, so we have to do the
we have to do a live one sometime.
Okay, well, when are you doing a Friday one again? Because usually he does it on Tuesdays, and I am out actually.
The next time you can do it, we'll do it. Okay. The next time.
We'll do another one on a Friday.
Okay. What does Mr. Snack say? And then we better wrap it up.
I have several dozen mystery snails and their shells are leaching. The pH is not low. I have no idea why it is happening.
Okay. Well, my understanding is that it's good for the pH not to be low, and that will help. But you also need to provide them calcium to eat. As actually, they can eat a calcium source like cuttlebone, which you can break up. Buy it for use with birds. Break it up, let it soak until it sinks, because it'll often take several days for it to actually sink. And once it does, they'll start eating it, and that should help with the shell erosion. You need to have both some calcium dissolved in the water and some calcium for them directly to eat. So hopefully, Mr. Snack says you have cuttlebone in the tank as well. Really? What? Do you have acidic water with a high pH, which is not, you can have high dissolved minerals. You can't have high pH in acidic water, but you can have a lot of dissolved minerals in the water and acidic water. Is that what you have? That is a strange situation. Okay, SB says, I have cocoa fiber in my vivarium as a substrate and I can't get it to dry. It is very, very damp. How can I get it to dry without ripping the whole thing apart? Besides putting a heat lamp on the vivarium, not a whole lot. You could just scoop out most of it and dry it in the sun or dry it in an oven and then put it back in, and then what is wet would wick up into the dry stuff. But Little Bob says the pH is low. I thought he said the pH was not low.
Maybe I read it wrong.
Okay.
He says the pH is not low.
Okay. The pH is around 7.9. It isn't acidic. It may be a bit too high. That's actually not bad for mystery snails at all. 7.9 is fine. So
what else makes them leach?
Usually those are the two things. I mean, if you have acidic water, and if they don't have a calcium source that they can eat, those are the two things. So I'm afraid I'm at a loss with that one.
We'll have to do some research. Well, you'll have to do some research.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find anything on that. That's interesting. Good question. If anybody else has anything with that, chime in the comments, please. We've got to cut this short, or not cut it short, but we've got to end it. So it's time for the kids to eat dinner. But welcome. I mean, thank you for coming. I'm really glad everybody came.
And
hopefully,
I promise Little Bob will get it done. And it won't be on Tuesday because I'm not here on Tuesdays.
We'll have to figure out a time when we can do it.
But we'll do it, and he will let you know ahead of time so you don't miss it.
Okay.
Right? You're like, what are you telling me to do? I don't
Sorry, I'm trying to see comments and everything at the same time, but okay, we've got to cut it short. Sorry, everyone. If you have other comments, leave them in at the end of this video as a comment to the post live video, and I promise I'll try to answer it. I will read it and I will do my best to answer it. So, all right.
He says, yeah, you will. You could be nice to me.
Okay. So thanks everybody and have a great weekend.